Hello students, welcome to all in this class of social science once again. Dear students, now we come on the second part of the chapter, that is development of resources. Till now we have seen how resources can be classified. Now we talk about development of resources. How can resources be developed and why should we develop it? So let's get started. Dear students, resources should be developed because these are vital for human survival as well as for maintaining the quality of life. Vital mean to say important, means these resources are very important, or you can say necessary part for human survival as well as for maintaining the quality of life. Now, it is believed that resources are free gifts of nature. So, human beings started using it indiscriminately. Indiscriminately means without any discrimination. And what will be the result of it? Result will be the depletion of resources. So, it led to depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals. Second, there was a accumulation of resources in few hands, which in turn divided the society into two segments, rich and poor, or have and have-nots. The indiscriminate exploitation of resources also led to global ecological crisis, and by now we understand global economic crisis because of the COVID and health crisis. Similarly, if there is over-exploitation of resources, it can be led to global ecological crisis. One such thing is global warming, and we are already seeing symptoms of it. What will happen in this? The rainfall duration, say in India, in general, is for 4 months. It will come down to 2. So, there can be floods in the beginning, and later on there will be drought condition, ozone layer depletion. If that happen, then the number of cancer patients will increase, environmental pollution and land degradation. So all these are ill effects. Reason behind that is indiscriminate exploitation of resources. Now, what will be the question on this? The question is, what are the problems due to indiscriminate exploitation of resources? Now, what is the solution? The solution is sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development means development of resources, but at the same time taking care or taking into account the well-being of the future generation. So, it means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generations. For that, we require resource planning. Now, why do we need resource planning? We need resource planning because there are some regions which have sufficient amount of resources. Say, for example, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh. Now these states are rich in agriculture. Similarly, if I take Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, these are rich in minerals. Similarly, if I come down in Karnataka, Karnataka is rich in coffee, even granite. Then Assam, we all know, is for tea. In South India, Kerala. Kerala is for spices and rubber. Maharashtra is for sugarcane and cotton. Now they are self-sufficient in certain resources, but it does not mean that self-sufficient in all resources. Similarly, there are some regions which have acute shortage of vital resources, or you can say important resources. So they have to take it from other states. This is one reason why resource planning is needed. Similarly, whatever resources are available in their areas in the form of nature, they need to be processed as we have seen earlier. Again, for processing it into a final product which people can use, a planning structure is required. That is the importance of planning. For development, there is need of resources. Now, a question: is availability of resource a necessary condition for the development of any region? You may say yes. The answer is right as well as wrong. Because if resources are there, if raw material is there, then easily it can be converted into finished goods and utilized. But if I take the example of Japan, Japan is not rich in minerals, but it is rich in technology. What it does is, why is raw material converts it into finished goods and themselves back? So availability of resource is not a necessary condition for the development of any region, but it is there, it is good. Resource planning involves identification and inventory of resources. Means first of all, identify the resource and take an account of it. How much resource and what quality it is available. And this involves surveying, mapping, qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of resources. Second is evolving a planning structure, because without a planning structure, nothing is possible. A planning structure means, say, if we take an example of school, and the school has a planning structure, it has a timetable, and the students are allotted their respective classrooms, the teachers are given timetable, and it runs systematically. The reason is there is a planning structure. Similarly, for the management of the nation also, we require a planning structure. Similarly, for the evolving of structure, for the development of resources, we require a planning structure also. Then, it is matching the resource development plans with overall national development plans. That means, say I developed roads in the local area. They are connected to the state highways and state highways to the national highways. So whatever it development is happens in the local area in terms of roads actually helps national development plans. This was just one example. So for this, we must be endowed with appropriate technology, skill as well as institutional setup. So question on this topic will be, what steps are involved in resource planning? Now we talk about conservation of resources. Conservation doesn't mean saving the resources. Conservation actually means wise management of the resources. It actually means using resources with discrimination. So resources are vital for in any development activities which we have already seen. But irrational consumption and overutilization of resources will lead to social as well as economic and environmental problems. And to overcome these problems, resource conservation at different levels is important. Gandhiji once said that there is enough for everybody's needs, but not for anybody's greed. The land resources in our country can be broadly classified as: one is mountainous area. Mountains cover 30% of the land in India. The next one is the plateau area. When it comes to plateau area covers relatively a smaller area, and that is 27%. Then there is plains. When it comes to plains, it is 43%, and plain includes coastal plains as well as northeastern plains. Now, among the various uses of land, first one is forests. Dear students, as per the National Forest Policy, which was developed in 1952, it is said that 33% of the land should be under forest. But because of deforestation, today we have around 22% of land under forests, which is a matter of great concern. Then it is land not available for cultivation. When I say land not available for cultivation, we have barren and wasteland. What do we understand by these? Barren and wastelands are lands which includes rocky and arid. Arid means dry area, and even desert areas, which we will find mainly in northwestern parts of the country in the name of Western Rajasthan and parts of Madhya Pradesh. Then we have land that is put to non-agricultural lands, which is in the form of big buildings, roads, factories, etc. Then it is other uncultivated land. In this comes permanent pastures. I said earlier, pasture means grazing grounds. Grazing grounds are the places where animals go and eat grass. So other uncultivated land, and first one is permanent pastures and grazing land. Second, land under miscellaneous tree crops and groves. Groves also are trees. Then it is cultivable wasteland, means land which can be cultivated, but right now it is not cultivated. Such land comes under this category. Then it is fallow lands. So what is fallow land? Fallow land means land which has lost its fertility. Farmer gives it rest in order to regain the fertility of the land. He will be adding organic fertilizers, nothing else, and giving it rest. So this can happen for 1 year. Then it is current fallow land. So what is current fallow land? Land which is left without cultivation for 1 or less than 1 agriculture year will be current fallow land. Then there is other than current fallow land. Here it is the land is uncultivated for 1 to 5 years. When it is 5 years, reason can also be lack of availability of water, or sometime it can be waterlogging. So what is net sown area? One is the actual available land for cultivation, but in that some areas are left uncultivated. So actual land which is utilized for cultivation of crops will come in the category of net sown area. The net sown area in India is around 54%, means half of the land in India is used for cultivation. Now the pattern of net sown area varies from one state to another. If we take one hand, Punjab and Haryana, they have 80% of land. But the northeastern states like Arunachal Pradesh, then Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, and even Andaman and Nicobar Islands, it is less than 10%. So from one state to another state, it will vary. On the top is Punjab and Haryana, and the lower we have northeastern states. Now the question on this will be, what are the different forms of land utilization? Here you will be right in everything. First one is forest, second one is land not available for cultivation, then it is other uncultivated land, then it is fallow lands and net sown area. So dear students, today in this module we have discussed about the development of resources. We have also discussed about the need for sustainable development and resource planning. Thank you. Stay blessed, stay happy. Have a great day.